What's up, y'all? It is your boy Kirk here with Kingdom Kids Media, and I asked you guys on Instagram if you wanted to hear how I made the soundtrack for Love Is. And if you haven't checked out that video, check out the video, the card, one of these sides. Just check out the video before you watch this. It'll be dope. I think you'll enjoy it. And then you'll be able to actually see what this music actually goes to. But this is the first part, and I think it'll probably be a 4-part series, depending on how long this one takes. I don't want the videos to be too long on this channel. I want to respect your guys' time and give you information on, on this stuff as quickly and promptly as I can. So that being said, let's get into it. What's up, y'all? It is your boy Kirk here with Kingdom Kids Media, where we help creatives grow in their faith, their craft, and become the best version of themselves. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how I made the first part of how I made the soundtrack for Love Is. Check out the video. Anyway, so as you can see on my screen here, I have a bunch of different groups that are all color-coded, because if I don't do it that way, then I'm going to go crazy. So I have my drums, I have pianos and keys, I have guitars that are lead guitars, and then I have background guitars, and I also have vocals in there. I have a bass line, and then I have all my effects grouped. This is actually a small session compared to what I used to make. I would have sessions at 140, 150 tracks easy. But that's all like, dubstep, trap production, EDM production. I can actually link to some of that stuff that I used to make if that's interesting to you. Or I could just show you how I make the new stuff. Anyway, so we're actually going to go through the thought process. I think in this first video, I want to go through the thought process. Maybe I'll put this out as like a thing you guys can just listen to on the channel. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want that. And I could do that. So this idea started with this single piano. I love it because I didn't EQ it, I didn't do nothing to it. All I did was run it to a reverb. And this is Kontakt is one of my favorite instrument libraries and instruments to use. Well, the library, and because it just has the libraries that come in complete, and some of the libraries that you can get for it are just so good. And I ended up using the Alicia's keys. Yeah, they're really solid. They're one of my favorite keyboards. It's real sounding. It's just a good sounding piano. There's a bunch of others that you can get for this, but I really like this one. Very simple, gets the job done, and to kind of get that dreamy sound, because what I was thinking in my head is this really dreamy video that had these beautiful images and that had just a really kind of like crescendoing soundtrack to it. So something that just kind of grew and grows and adds layers and layers and layers and layers. And if you can check out the screen, you can actually see how it almost looks like a staircase. Things just kind of build up and add till they get to this big payoff section at the end. And I made the music for the video specifically. The video idea came first, then the music came, and then the actual edit came after the music was done. That's just the easiest way for me to do it. The easiest way for me to have the music be super impactful and be just as much a part of the video as the footage and any of the editing, any of that stuff. So I have that. That's what it started with. And my first instrument that I started playing was bass. So the idea after that was kind of this bass line. Let's get into it. So it's just kind of a building thing, and it's in the key of A. And then once I laid down the pianos and the bass, I kind of went and I'm like, all right, my process is I'll just go and pick up my guitar and throw like a really dreamy sounding amp on it from either Logic or from Guitar Rig, which is Native Instruments. I use a lot of Native Instruments stuff. This is not a sponsored video, but I use a lot of Native Instruments stuff because I like it it's just good stuff, you know. But in this one, I actually decided to use, if you look at the screen on my guitars, I decided to use Logic's stock amp. And this is what it sounds like without the amp. Let me actually take it off, take all this off. I don't know if you can even hear that because it's so quiet. So then now I'll take the amp and I put the amp on. So what I really love about Logic's new amps, before their amp simulations were not that good, their amps are really good now. And I really feel like they just have good tone, and you can actually do a lot with these amps. They sound really great. So then I EQ, and then I added delays to make it sound even more dreamy. This is Logic's tape delay. They really stepped up their stock plugin game as the updates kept going on. This is Logic X. I think there's an 11 now. I don't know, but I'm still on Logic X. And they really stepped up their game. And then I also added, one of my favorite reverbs is a Valhalla Room reverb. Hashtag the EDM reverb. And then you get that tone. So that really just kind of sets the atmosphere. And that's what I really wanted for this track. I wanted it to be like a departure from reality kind of feel, like just kind of like this big, dreamy, dreamlike kind of video. But the messaging in the video is it's very realistic, which is why I really like this song for that, you know, this kind of vibe for that video. Because it kind of makes it seem like a dream, but you're like, oh wait, all these things that are being said in the video are very simple things that we can all do. You know, so then yeah, so that's kind of the thought process behind it. And in part two, I think I want to get into the nitty gritty of the actual mix and the actual parts and stuff. But this is just the first video. And it's the quick one. I think a lot of people think about like making music, but they don't actually think about, and they go into like the technical stuff, but thought process and feel and emotion are the things that should drive the actual music. Because then otherwise you can make a song that's technically great. You can make a song that has the right parts in it. You can make a song that you know, just fits whatever mold, but then it doesn't have any emotion, any feel, any true motive and movement behind it. And that's one of the big things that I've kind of learned over the years of producing is I want my music to evoke some sort of emotion in people. And I want my music to take someone to a place and kind of, if it's a departure from whatever they're going through, or if it's like a realization, or if it's just, I just want it to be something that evokes emotion, you know? So in part two, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. I know I'm kind of pushing that off, but in part two, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. I'll put it out on Monday next week. Catch you later.